Mobile Games has called today's round of layoffs a restructuring rather than a closure.
So I guess they're still publishing those
How
games that
many
are
people
supposed to be
got let
coming out.
go? Was it bad?
Majority of them. I
Oh,
think it was the majority of the staff.
awesome.
I think they're like bare bones now.
Great. So I'll feel good about my Humble subscription and getting my 10% off of the Humble store. We need something in the gaming industry to go right. What's the next big promising story for gaming industry? What's our next big win? What's our next dub? Is it Concord?
Right now it's just like, no, now we're just coasting. I told somebody about Concord at work and they thought we were talking about grapes. It's like, you're talking about grapes? I was like, no, a game called Concord. I was like,
I like that, Jelly.
It's like, the charger for that now? $40 for Concord grapes?
Oh, how much are Concord grapes now?
Like 90% certain we probably lost Brant, so.
Brant's here. No, he is frozen.
He's gone.
Yeah, he's gone. Oh, Snafu's here. What is this? Any new news or rumors on the PS5 back compat? We don't know. What have you heard? Snafu is here. Friend of the show, Snafu, welcome.
Might just be the PS3 stuff that's supposedly coming through the works.
Yeah, I'm okay with that too.
That way you can have 8 different versions of Uncharted to play. And wait for them to remake that one for this.
I already do.
Never stop remaking Uncharted.
Never stop playing Uncharted. I'm fine with it. Renee's here. Renee, welcome. Renee Snafu got us right off the rip about PS5 back compat. Yeah, there's a lot of Snafu. We're not like recording yet, but it's almost one of those things where there's so much smoke, there's got to be fire, right, Cesar?
Yeah.
They're investing a certain level into something. We don't know what that is. Is that the next generation streaming portable? Is that PlayStation Portal? What exactly is that?
I mean, they're just trying to find an easy way to fill that back catalog for their subscription services, so whether or not to actually go through with it or not depends on how easy it is. Bleach wants that Concord jelly too, so are we is he buying a PS5 for that jelly?
Let's see. I said, welcome, Bleach. Mermy, mostly Mermy, not you, Bleach. They both got notifications, though. Do we kill Brant's feed until he comes back in, or just wait?
I was waiting for Brant to text us. I guess he said some O's earlier, so maybe they're having some power issues because it is thundering pretty bad. Thunder.
Ew. You trying to do some what is that, Imagine Dragons?
AC/DC.
Yes, you were doing that. I was doing Lightning and the Thunder. The Braves game schedule for this time has been postponed. Okay, no Braves game.
I don't think I'm current enough for Imagine Dragons.
Are we?
I'm not. I don't know. You have different.
I'm not an Imagine Dragons fan, so it's a no-go for me.
I respect what they do.
Sell out arenas.
Hey man, it's money.
Yeah.
Because I update everything ever made in the plugin space. Haven't heard anything from Brant. I guess that's what we're waiting on.
Nope.
Right? Just waiting on maybe possibly Brant.
He's just chilling. He's just chilling, frozen on the stream. I like it though.
Watching this on his phone.
Yeah. He's glued. He's glued to some sort of content. Renee says that freeze frame can be used as a cover. Oh, Brant, come back to us, Brant. Come back to life.
Back to reality.
Brent said rebooting, so hold tight. Hold tight, ladies and gentlemen.
He is rebooting a book from 2012, so it might take a little bit longer.
2012? I thought it was older than that.
What is it? 2012 is a long time. It's like 12 years.
I want to say it's older than that.
2009?
I keep sending him those MacBook Airs that are on sale right now. I was like, Brant, get one of these MacBook Airs. Come on, I'm tempted to.
Is he the catalyst for you? And like, if he partakes, then you would jump with him?
If Brant jumps, I jump.
I use a MacBook. And
someone in the chat is telling us shirt off immediately. Is that for me or you, Cesar?
You.
Why does it have to be me? Why is it me? It could be Brant. Brant, come back. Take off your shirt. Take off your Zelda shirt. Oh, boy. We're going to have to roll through this thing. It's 9 o'clock.
Brant corrected all of us. He said 2011. I was closer.
I knew it was a 2011 MacBook. I knew it was. Oh, boy. MacBook Pro. I'm sorry, MacBook Pro.
Yeah.
Come on, Brant. You were what, like 8 years old in 2011?
If that much. That old.
Brent is a
he was probably gifted that MacBook when he was born
from President Bush, second term. 2011's Obama, right? Is it Obama MacBook? But he's a Bush baby. So. He was born under second Bush administration. He's a Obama MacBook baby. Oh, baby Brant. There he is. There he is.
Sons of bitches.
Let's go. Yeah. He's back.
There we go.
2011. Brant, what president gave you your first MacBook Pro? He just dropped again.
He did not like our speed.
Got you. Got you.
Oh, shit. Who was it, Brant? 2011.
2011?
What president gifted you your MacBook Pro?
I wasn't gifted a MacBook Pro.
Buish says,
in our version of the story, you were. So.
Oh Lord.
Buish says Obama Mac Pro, Obama MacBook. It's an Obama Mac.
Are we bringing back Obama from
giving out MacBooks?
GameCube? Is that what's happening?
I will play some Obama. Y'all want to stream some Obama?
Let's go.
Left go.
Hopefully the storm doesn't take me out again here.
Oh, Brant.
Oh, I hear it. I hear it's coming for you,
I do hear it too. That rumbling in the background.
It's bad, actually, over here.
All right, y'all ready to get going at least for podcast material? We'll see how the stream goes.
As I keep getting notified from my watch every 2 seconds that Brant says 2011 because I haven't acknowledged it yet.
2011.
2011. I was like, all right, yes.
Oh, Obama MacBook has got me. I like that one.
Damn it, Bush.
Oh man, I think I have a Bush MacBook. Not Bush. I have a Bush MacBook. What's that, a 06? Yeah, that is a Bush MacBook. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 311. 311. I didn't realize this was such a profound episode number. The 311th rendition of your favorite Southeastern premier video game and attempted 311 tie-in podcast.
Could you just set color your energy or something like that? Yeah.
We are no outside food or drink also known as NOFODcast. This week's news, in which we go over 311 band members' dogs, maybe Dalmatians. No, that was Sublime. I got them mixed up.
That was
Sublime.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of Sublime.
Yeah.
What's
I
happening?
made a cross-reference there. This week's news, FTC back on Microsoft. New Famicom detective game. Interesting. That being the family computer in Japan. PlayStation Extra and Premium games. We have your new GBA games on Nintendo Switch Online Plus, as well as your late July Game Pass games. I'm one of your hosts, Richard Bergman, joined tonight by Newsmaster Brant McKee.
Welcome on this 311th show of NOFODcast.
Dalmatians
where
included.
Where we are grassroots. We may be a little all mixed up, but we do come original. And we are down to do you right, like a beautiful disaster. And
well done,
our energy is always amber in color.
Amber is the color of our energy. Also joining us, Lore Master and Page Master, resident, that is. Cesar Concepcion the second. Cesar, what color is your energy?
I'm not going to follow up any of that.
Brant slayed it. There's no follow-up.
There's no completion.
Yeah.
It's just been like, and there's that guy. And let's get started.
Oh, yeah.
311.
Brant killed that one with the 311. That was it. There was no retort to any of his 311 commentary. Well done, Brant. You understand the assignment. Gentlemen, how are we? We took a 1 week hiatus for time zone differences.
A week?
1 week? A week?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 1 week.
Took a week off.
A week hiatus.
We did stream though.
We did stream. We played some Concord. Yeah. I'm sure we'll talk about some Concord later on.
Concord.
Brant's favorite game.
No, correction. Brant's favorite grape. Brant, real quick.
Grape jelly.
Rank the grapes. Or the jellies.
Oh my gosh.
Brant, what's your top tier jelly? Do you like the one with the peanut butter already mixed up in there?
No.
Yeah,
you need good distribution.
Top tier grape. Welch's?
I'm more of a I'm Welch's. I'm more of a strawberry jelly though.
You're pivoting already. Like, I gotta get away from this grape jelly nonsense.
Grape's all right.
What about blueberry?
Oh yeah.
I mean, what's the line between jelly and preserves?
And then there's jam.
I don't think she listens to this show, but I have a stepsister who protested the fact that her PB&J was made with jam and not jelly at the dinner table for at least 6 hours. And I sat there with her because I didn't understand it, but I respected her protesting the fact that this was not what she expected. She thought it would be...
Hey, it still starts with a J.
A peanut butter and jelly, not a peanut butter and jam, and she was not having it. So I chilled there with her and played my copy of Pokemon Pinball on the Game Boy Color, which worked on my Game Boy OG, the DMG model, since I didn't have a Game Boy Color. It was one of those cross, like, it can play in color or it can play on regular. So I chilled with her while she boycotted the peanut butter and jam. She stuck with it, man. We were there till like 10 o'clock at night.
Did she win?
Yes, they let us go. They let us both go. It started creeping into my mind after like 2 hours. I'm like, what's the difference between jam and jelly? Can you just eat that sandwich? Can we just go? Like, I'm playing a Game Boy game. We could just get out of here. But she stuck with it, and they eventually let us go.
Just see little Richard sitting over there playing Pokemon Pinball, and then like looking over. Hey, if you're not gonna eat that, can I have a bite? Like
I could help you knock this out. I was not my pancreas was not affected at this time in my life. I could have provided assistance in knocking out that sandwich, that PB and jam. Man, she was not having it though. We sat there together in a silent, not so silent protest. Speaking of silent protests, let's get into this news. I don't think any of these stories have to do with protesting. This comes from Andy Robinson at VideoGamesChronicle.com. FTC claims Xbox's Game Pass price hike is, quote, consumer harm, it warned of. We talked about this 2 weeks ago regarding the Xbox Game Pass price hikes and the change of, didn't they wipe out the bottom tier and got rid of, the bottom tier is there, but it got a price increase and there's no day one releases, right? Mm-hmm. Which everything we had heard up to that point is they are purchasing said companies, maybe Activision Blizzard is one of them, to pad out said offering and circumvent a potential monopoly or some sort of cloud streaming monopoly, I guess is still the same term. Yeah, to get around that fixture.
Yeah.
This news article says the Federal Trade Commission, or FTC, has called Microsoft's recently announced Game Pass price rises, quote, exactly the sort of consumer harm, end quote, it tried to stop by fighting the company's acquisition of Activision Blizzard. Following a court victory for Microsoft last year, which the FTC is currently appealing, the corporation completed its $69 billion acquisition of Activision Blizzard in October 2023. The agency is continuing to submit evidence while its appeal is considered, and in a new filing on Thursday, it highlighted Microsoft's new Game Pass tiers, which include a price increase for Ultimate and a new standard tier that does not include day one releases. That's what sticks out here. Microsoft has responded to the FTC, stating that it's wrong to call its Game Pass offering degraded, since the standard tier is allegedly replacing the Game Pass for console offering, which did not include online multiplayer. We're splitting hairs here. If you are listening to the show and not watching us, we all rolled our eyes. Quote, while Game Pass Ultimate's price will increase from $16.99 to $19.99 a month, this service will offer more value through many new games available day and date. Quote, among them is the upcoming release of Call of Duty, which has never been available on a subscription day and date. Quote, product degradation, removing the most valuable games from Microsoft's new service, combined with price increases for existing users, is exactly the sort of consumer harm from the merger the FTC has alleged, it wrote. Microsoft's price increases and product degradation, combined with Microsoft's reduced investments and output. Where are these games? Where is this multitude of output of Game Pass games from these acquisitions? And product quality via employee layoffs are the hallmarks of a firm exercising market power post-merger. The FTC's letter goes on to note that, quote, Microsoft's price increases coincide with adding Call of Duty to Game Pass's most expensive tier, and discontinuing the console tier will happen shortly before releasing Call of Duty's newest game. It notes that Microsoft promised that acquisition would benefit consumers by making Call of Duty available on Microsoft's Game Pass on the day it released on console, with no price increase for the service based on the acquisition included in the quote. The agency concludes by claiming that Microsoft's post-merger actions vindicate its earlier skepticism of promises it made regarding Game Pass. Previously, the FTC alleged that Microsoft's decision to make mass layoffs earlier this year contradicted previous statements it made in court about how it planned to run the Xbox business if it acquired Activision Blizzard. So, we will get them according to this amount of money, and we will provide this. And according to what the FTC is looking at, you acquired this, yes, we allowed this, and now you're not allowing blank. From this month, this is just the recap for VGC. From this month, Xbox's top Game Pass Ultimate tier will increase in price to $19.99 US dollars, from $16.99 US dollars. PC Game Pass will also increase from $11.99 US dollars to, I don't see the number in here. Significantly, Microsoft has retired its Xbox Game Pass for console tier for new users. This will soon be replaced with a new $14.99 standard tier, which will include access to a back catalog of games and online play, but no day one releases or cloud gaming, which has been the whole premise behind Game Pass since day one.
Yeah, it's one of their strengths that they were pushing for a while.
They have a huge valid point here, the FTC does, in pursuing this. I'm glad someone's calling them out. Why would you have a Game Pass subscription for consoles that does not have day one releases? That's asinine. Especially after this merger. That's the damning thing. Sony has done this in the past year where they split us out into, what is it, Essential, Extra, and Premium?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
However, there was not the precedent of all these years of you're going to get day one releases and coming soon day one to Game Pass. Didn't all of that non-E3 marketing include like day one to Game Pass? Indiana Jones.
That's always been their big shtick. It started going away when they got rid of Xbox Live Gold and making the core and different versions of Game Pass.
And then within 60 days of seeing Indiana Jones day one to Game Pass, we get Game Pass redefined, right? That says maybe your Game Pass doesn't give you Indiana Jones day one. So I think it's a valid point here. People can have different conflicting opinions about these government regulatory bureaus. I think the FTC has been pretty solid as far as pro-consumer action over the course of us following video game news and video game industry and stuff like that. So let's see what comes of this. I think it's an important thing to, if it's not just the three of us bitching on a podcast about the Xbox Game Pass tiers, it's an actual regulatory bureau saying, hey, this might not be right. So hopefully that helps out a lot more people. What is this new Nintendo Famicom Detective Club game? Who knows? We got a trailer that made it seem like it was an M-rated game coming out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's from Andy Robinson, VGC, and I think it was rated as M-rated. I think
I believe so.
Rumors started going around. It might be the Bloober Team's game they were making for Switch.
Yeah, the supposed horror game for Switch.
Because, that's what they do, which is probably just going to be a version of Layers of Fear, but that's in reality. But nonetheless, we had a small snippet of a man with a bag on his head with a drawn-on face, smiling, and with some creepy music. And what was it, about a week later, then we got an announcement that Emio, the Smiling Man, is part of the Famicom Detective Club. And it's coming out soon, August 29th, end of August. And this is the first new Detective Club story in 35 years. So I think we had the original two that got re-released digitally on Switch, which was the first time they've ever seen Day of Light in the United States. Then they had a physical release in Japan. And these are just essentially early visual novels. With visual novels with simple graphics and story in the background, and these been updated too, I guess, because of the popularity of Phoenix Wright within the last couple decade or 5 to 10 years, probably. Everybody's trying to jump on that train type situation, and Nintendo and these Famicom Detective Club stories are pretty good. So as we go through here, I think who wrote this article? I think it's Andy Robinson. I said, yep, and VGC. He notes that in Emio, the Smiling Man, Famicom Detective Club, a student has been found dead in a chilling fashion, his head covered with a paper bag with an eerie smiling face drawn on it. The unsettling visage bears a striking resemblance to a recurring clue in a string of unsolved murders from 18 years ago, as well as Emio, the Smiling Man, a killer of urban legend who's said to grant his victims a smile that will last forever. It's very Saw-esque, without all the Saw-esque stuff. Players take on the role of assistant private investigator with Utsugi Detective Agency, where they are tasked with helping police solve this crime. Along the way, scrutinize clues, testimonies, and you gather for potential connections to gruesome events of the past, Nintendo says. They note on here that this is the sequel to the original that was released on the Famicom Disk System in the late 80s in Japan. Smiling Man follows the previously released first and second installments in the series, which were remade for Switch, which I guess makes sense if they...
I was about to say, we just got these, right?
Yeah. About maybe 2 years ago. So, it comes out quick in August 29th. I think pre-orders went up. I think it's going to be readily available everywhere physically, which is cool. I've played the remakes on there. They're pretty good. And like I said, they are... attuned mostly to Phoenix Wright fans. It's definitely in that ballpark. If you like Phoenix Wright style,
murder mystery graphic
games,
novels,
probably in that aspect. There's not too much in the comedy aspect. So, where Phoenix Wright tends to do a lot of puns and lay heavily in there. So, but still got good storytelling on there. So if you do like mysteries, I hate to say Columbo, but I'm gonna say Columbo, then it might be up your alley. So,
If someone's like a super Columbo fan,
they're out there.
Brant, are you a
on
super
top of
Columbo fan?
Super Columbo.
The highly successful follow-up to the NES's hit Columbo.
Columbo.
Oh God. And
I would play a Super
what's funny-
Columbo.
I mean, is there really a Columbo game?
I've got an eye on one.
Oh my gosh.
So, what's funny is if you guys go in there and play the Nintendo World Championship game, and then you guys may have already know on the Switch that just recently
Mine
came
is
out.
so late. I bought it
You
like 3
can,
months ago. It hasn't even made it to me.
You can my Famicom version with the controllers came in.
Of course.
You can go in there and choose your favorite NES game, and it looks like every NES game ever made is on that list.
Including.
So you could also put Columbo. Yes, that's what I was leading all down to. So if Columbo is your favorite game on Nintendo,
Columbo.
you can let the world know, let it be known how much you love Columbo.
Will he read The Princess Bride to you while you lay in bed?
Was there a Princess Bride game?
No, but he read Princess
I don't
Bride to the
think so.
kid. To,
No, but no, that part I know, but it reeled me into is there a Princess Bride game?
There should be. I also want to note, Cesar got
gosh,
his
that would
import
be
copy
awesome.
of Nintendo World Championships before I got my U.S. copy from Target. Thank
I
you,
don't know.
Target, friend of the show.
You sure we're not going to go pull up the Wizard 2 Blu-ray and it's just going to be a Nintendo Direct of that game in there?
I have the Wizard on DVD. I don't think I have the Blu-ray.
I do have the Blu-ray. It's a good movie.
The first
So I'm
Nintendo
just gonna-
Direct.
The first one, Super Mario Brothers 3. Going to go ahead and segue to this next story, which would be our PlayStation Plus games for July.
Yes.
And with a huge header of College Football 25, which we're not sponsored, but a lot of people are
What?
enjoying right now. Not sponsored. This is not a sponsored stream. Or
I wish it
podcast.
was. I see multiple people
I-
celebrating at the top of that banner.
You should. I mean, everybody's getting free keys everywhere. All right, your PlayStation Plus extras and premium game catalog lineup. You have on extras. I always get this premium. Okay.
Yeah, extra.
This extra. I mean, God, I hate this naming convention.
It sucks.
But
it
whatever,
sucks.
man. I just look at the games and I'm like,
I'm with you.
I don't even know what I have. So we have Remnant 2, which standard edition, sequel to the best-selling Remnant from the Ashes, pit survivors of humanity against new deadly creatures, godlike bosses across terrifying worlds. Play solo or co-op with two or other friends to explore the depths of the unknown. Not gonna read all these, but that's Remnant 2. You have Crisis Core, Final Fantasy VII Reunion. Of course, we have to make everything elongated with those names.
Reunion? I thought that was the name for the part 3. What are they going to call part 3?
I don't know, man. I can come up with anything. weird for that.
Reestablish?
You have Mountain Blade 2, Bannerlord, which seems like that works as well. Which seems like that's
Reconnect.
Mark's Night game probably.
Recycle.
And we have a
Reassess.
Richard game, which is the Jackbox Party
Hey, I
Pack.
like me some
9.
Jackbox. That
Jackbox
is a
is
Richard
pretty
game.
good, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Then we have Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous. PS4, PS5, No More Heroes, PS4, PS5. You had Travis Strikes Back, No More Heroes Complete Edition, PS4, which is their collection of indie-esque games. Game I never heard of called Deadcraft on PS4, which is a zombie survival action genre game. It says on
Never
here.
heard of this either.
In a world ravaged by a deadly virus, Zombie Reed must survive not only by taking an axe and the weed whacker, anything he can get his
Ew.
hands on to hordes of undead. But by growing some zombies, followers of his own, choose your allies and enemies wisely as you try to make it through the apocalypse alive. Then we have the most popular game of all time, Steep, on PS4, which is a re-release,
Steep.
as they noted on here,
Steep has come out for everything, for everyone.
at some point,
Yeah,
right?
if you don't have Steep by now.
Yeah.
You've been
It's
avoiding
a
gaming.
crime against humanity if you
Mhm.
don't have it by now. Your VR offerings is Job Simulator VR 2 edition. What can I say? I played it on PSVR 1. It's a
Job
good,
Simulator is
it's a good game.
awesome.
Yep. Sucks that none of us will own a PSVR 2 to play this on. All right.
You never jumped? I thought you were gonna jump.
No. I mean, there's nothing for me to fucking play on there, man. That thing has to be like $100. I can't. Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 5. That's it. That's gonna be my library for that thing.
Not even the Netflix premium subscription thing they were bundling in.
Even then, man, I was like, it's just gonna gather dust, man.
Right.
But outside of that,
Content is king.
Here's your premium offerings. The tier that Brent got out for good reason. First up is Summoner, PS4, PS5. I'm sad to say, I got my PS2. It came out that October, right? There was a huge line for it. They did pre-orders. Yeah. It was backlog for a while. I signed up to like, hey, let me know when the next PS2 comes out. You know, the restock. I think I had a call around March or whatever.
Okay.
Went down there and bought it. Summoner was my first game I bought for PS2.
Okay.
So I'm okay with this. It's a poor man's version of Diablo. You have that ring around the character. You can go up there and click on the enemy to attack. You have different magic spells. You, I guess if I remember, I don't remember. Joseph is the summoner in this game. So he gets attacked because he's a job class of summoner because somebody was trying to capture him, and he ends up murdering his whole village, and then he's outcast. Whereas he vows to never be a summoner again and throws his summoning ring in the well. And then, of course, naturally, somebody goes to find the summoner again and kills his new village. And so that's how the story kind of starts up. But it's been a while since I played it, so I'm okay with playing this again.
I have this.
Another game.
I have a physical copy of this.
Yeah, I think it came on PS2, PC, and then I think the second one came on just PS2 and GameCube.
What was that one called?
Summoner 2.
It was right there.
Goddess
it was right there. I didn't
like
go down that.
Yeah,
I didn't go down.
You can't be sure. You can't be sure.
You never know.
It could just been called Joseph's Reckoning, and then no Summoner title in there.
Joseph in the Technicolor Summoner coat. You never know.
Look, I didn't know I was walking to a religious film until I watched it. So outside of that, the last two games on this list I own on PSP. I never got around to playing them.
Mm-hmm.
So we have Ratchet and Clank, Size Matters on PS4 and PS5. I played all the Ratchet & Clank games, but all for one because it requires online play, and the PSP ones, which was Size Matters. And I played maybe about an hour of this the other day. So,
how was it? Are you going to touch on that later?
I mean, I can talk about it now. I didn't play that much of it. I mean, I literally played an hour. I think the only difference is like you get these uniforms and outfits. I don't know what they did because I unlocked one of them, but outside of that, it's just supposedly just Ratchet on vacation, and they are no longer.
Is that tying with the outfits? Please describe the vacation outfits for Ratchet.
I mean, I don't know what the outfit thing, because I literally got to the point where it's like, oh, you acquired an outfit. I was like, oh, I've never seen that before in a Ratchet and Clank universe. Cool. But now I saved the game and quit after that. I was like, I'll fuck with this later. The other one I've not played before, but I've always heard great things about is Jeanne d'Arc.
Yeah.
Which is
tactical.
It is
cel shaded.
I played about an hour of it as well. It is Final Fantasy Tactics reminiscent. It is adjacent to that style with its chibi characters on open field. It's like a supernatural telling of Joan d'Arc. So, because it deals with like
it's supposed to be pretty good. So.
Yeah,
I've heard good things, and the little bit I've played of it is very interesting, and it seems like it does its own twist on the historical telling of that story. So
I'm pretty sure I own that license. So
and Brant,
I have the demo. Correct. I have the demo on PSP if you'd like to try it via UMD.
I bought it for Vita.
To echo Brant, I've also had a digital copy of that, and it automatically gave it to me when I happen to have extra. So it was on there, said download. I was like, yeah.
I need to look at mine. I might have bought that at some point, or be given that
pretty
at some point.
Yeah. So Brent, you should, if you have that license. It did for me. It didn't give me like, oh, you got this for Plus. It says, hey, just download.
Cool.
Yeah.
So yep. And those are your July releases for your extras and premium, the worst naming convention in American history. We thought it was going to be the Xbox Game Pass, but it was not. It was the damn whatever the hell PlayStation Plus calls their shit.
Naming convention sucks, but those games are awesome. And I need to try Summoner.
Their premiums games are starting to get better since they added the PS2 stuff on there.
True.
So instead of us getting every version of Medieval, and as Brent's like, well, why do I have this service? Because why do I need 4 versions of Medieval? I already have them physically. So
I already have 8 versions of Medieval.
Yeah.
I need to start taking a picture of these.
Wasn't
games
it like $200 or something for premium? Or
yeah.
What was that? What price did you see the other day, Richard?
It was something that sounds like $200 because he was shocked at how much it was. I'm still got my conversion until the December 2025, so I'm still in there for a little bit longer. So
it gets bad, and that gap between extra, I think, is a great value that Brant settled on. What, about a year ago or so now?
Yeah.
And premium has just now started padding out those titles, but I don't mind paying the one-off like $5 here, $10 there, and knowing I own those if my subscription goes away for those one-off titles that come up. Like, give us more Sly Cooper games, give us more Ratchet and Clank games. That's what people are wanting. Give us Jeanne d'Arc. It's stuck on the PSP. It's never been re-released. Give us that. So it starts to become like, as these months add up, is that a legit value over the course of the subscription versus extra?
If they pull off the PS3 stuff, I think it'll start popping. Like it would be a like if they not come out with like 3 a month, if they start coming out with like 8 a month at PS3, or like 4 to 8, like the rumor was going around that they want to do, is a little bit more at PS3, and I think it would be popping. I think at that point it would be like, yeah, I'll do it.
And again, this is the 3 of us that have access to all these games already in certain means, legitimate or not, mostly legitimate, and we're trying to debate this tier, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with Cesar. Bring on more PS2 games.
I mean, if it could be to a point where like, hey, yeah, there's a lot in here. I mean, if it gets more variety instead of us getting 85 versions of the same game, I'm for it. So I love Medieval like the next guy, man. But do we need
not 80 times over?
Add the PS3 games and immediately add the Infamous games.
Oh, they put Infamous in there, and they put a subscription only. Brant be hurting.
Oh.
Oh, he just said, he's in.
I don't know if he's in. He might just upgrade for the month.
Oh,
that's how to get their Infamous in a month.
Brant, show us on the Zelda shirt where the Infamous game touched you.
I think Infamous is one of those that I actually I've got the digital license from when they had that big PSN outage.
Mm-hmm. I picked up Festival of Blood in that same window. Is that the DLC for 1 or 2?
I believe that's 2.
Okay.
Let's see. Up next, we actually have some new Nintendo Switch Plus expansion pass.
Oh, what did we get? I really want some more Kirby games.
Well, you're in luck because we didn't get more Kirby games, but we did get 3 Game Boy Advance games
starring Kirby.
Starring Starfy.
What'd you say? Star? I lost you there for a second.
Starfy.
Hold on, you're breaking up. Starring who?
These are never before localized games in Japan that have now been released here in the West, and guess what? They still aren't localized.
What does that mean, Brant?
They are 3 Densetsu no Starfy games, which is the Legend of Starfy. And for some reason, they just released them. They do not have any English language. So you cannot get all of the Starfy lore without the aid of a maybe Google Translate or by learning Japanese or having a Japanese friend that can read you all of the
or a Japanese podcast co-host.
Oh, yes, that too.
It's the story's pretty simple, man. It's not too bad.
But Starfy
for us.
I mean, I've only played the beginning of the first one where it goes into like his Oji-san, his grandfather, to start talking. I mean, I started reading this and I'll play it later, but it's not too bad. I mean, it's not like it's in kanji or anything like that.
Right.
Most of it can be done in
right.
hiragana, katakana, so that's fine.
You can wing it.
You can do it, man. Both of y'all can do it.
But these are all, like I said, 3 Game Boy Advance games. These were developed by Tosei.
I mean, the only one that got translated was what the DS one, right? That's the only English one we got, right?
We got Legend of
Yes.
Starfy as DS game. But
Which is the 4th one, I believe.
It's funny how these parallels are with Phoenix Wright. Like, Phoenix Wright was this highly successful GBA franchise, and it took the DS for us to finally get one, right? And Starfy's kind of... Was Starfy on anything before the GBA?
No.
That's it. And it's very Kirby-esque. That was the jokes at the beginning of the bit there.
Yeah, because it's like you said, the Gaiten Saiban was out on the Game Boy Advance, and then they got ported over. Then they got ported to the DS, and that's how we got it over here. Yeah.
Those were GBA games to start with. These are supposed to be great platformers. I'm excited to get more stuff like this. Even if it's not translated, it's not super lore dense, says our lore master. You can go in. Not that bad. You can go in with a basic comprehension or use Google Translate. Just hover it over your phone if you need to know what's happening.
Like I said, sometimes the Google Translate, if you hold it at a different angle, the meaning will change. So
yes,
it's not too difficult. So like if you wanted to do Google Translate, I think that would be a fine one to use.
Right.
So.
All right.
And I don't know about you, Richard, but I did notice our family subscription re-upped. So
it did. To whom do we owe the honor of
paying?
The term here is congratulating. Who do we offline congratulate via compensation?
I mean, I still owe dues, so I can't really say shit. So
yeah, but there's other people in that family that don't owe dues. I don't care about those people. Those people owe you. Yes.
Yeah.
Did you contact everyone in that group or
not yet? I haven't had time.
Yeah, if you don't,
that CrowdStrike thing happened and everything. So
send me a list. I'll hound the individuals. I think I'm connected to a majority of those individuals. Are there any you don't have direct contact info for?
No, I mean I can probably without calling them out. I think I got them all. I just got to set the time and do it instead of
or let me know
doing work-related stuff. As you guys know, me coming in every day this last week has been nightmarish.
Why? There's been nothing happening in your field this past week.
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
I may or may not have been in an airport recently and seen a cyclical reboot of Windows on a screen near me.
I've never seen the implosion and decline of an airline before, like Delta.
Who still
crazy.
Can't recover.
Yeah, there you are.
May or may not have used said airline on Y2K 2K4. And somehow made it home.
I'm happy you made it out there because I've had coworkers who were 2 days late to work because they couldn't get back to Atlanta. So, and we're not compensated anything. They said we can compensate you $100 for your 3 days that you had to stay here stranded.
Nope, that's not gonna work.
And that person's like, nope, I'm coming for everything you owe me. So
yeah, the travel secretary of the United States of America has said that you're due full compensation for that. So they won't be able to ride that for too long.
Yeah, I mean, because didn't they clean that up last year when they were having all those issues from those canceled flights? It's like, yeah, you can't do that.
Nope.
Just cancel stuff and be like.
It's the airline responsibility to house, compensate, all those sorts of things. No extra fees, nothing.
Yeah, my coworker said they did not take that $100. Like, nope, I'm coming for everything.
Yep, that's it.
I said they try to copy you out. It's like that was a good move.
They did. They try to buy them off. Nope, you can get everything.
Yeah, like, oh, just sign off here. Sign off here that this $100 was good.
You get housing. You get everything about the your stay, your lost bags, all that sorts of stuff. Because when I arrived back in the friendly confines,
US
I saw that lost bag line, and it was going all the way down the concourse of where I came in from. That may or may not have been international or domestic.
Bam.
and it was nonstop.
So-
I was like, "Oh, please let my bags be here. Please let my bags be here, and
Yeah.
me not join this line."
So did Southwest have the same issue or not?
I haven't seen anything
I
from
think they-
Southwest.
I think
And it's
a lot of them. I can't remember Southwest did, but a lot of them did for that day.
Yes,
But
it's this long
Delta
term.
just has
The
not.
long-term issue is exclusively Delta now, apparently.
yeah. No, I thought it was funny because I saw on Twitter that somebody mentioned that Southwest did not have any issues because they were still using Windows 3.1 as their main operating system. And I don't know if that was true or not, but I was like, that's why I was asking you guys. Yeah.
Hey, somebody's. I was reading since Windows has
Somebody out
blocked
there, Windows XP,
Windows XP.
Windows Vista.
Since Microsoft has banned like updates for Windows for Russian services, their airline, what correspondence or tracking or whatever did not have these same issues because they were using bastardized version of Windows. They didn't have recent updates and such.
It's the same with China, right? Because they went through and they still use XP, right? They were like, yeah, we're not coming off XP. And so they just took over support themselves. So
Or
I
anyone
still
using
think they're on Windows XP.
anyone
so.
using Unix or Linux or Mac OS was good. Brant's good. Brant was able to join this call tonight thanks to Mac
I mean,
OS.
his 2011 MacBook is still kicking.
Running Parallels. He's joining us. He's joining us via Skype, via Parallels boot camp.
As soon as he was born, they're like, here's your MacBook.
Yeah. Brent came out of the womb with a MacBook in hand.
Here's your MacBook. You only get one of them. You gotta rock it till you die.
Brent's first words were, what is this command key? How do I use terminal?
Well, how come every time I click right, it opens stuff, and then it's like my most common mistake every time I use a MacBook. It's like, damn it, I gotta switch my clicking habits.
Shift click. I'll learn one day. I'll shift click. Last but not least in news, we have your Xbox Game Pass games coming soon, today, already out.
Late July here.
Late July. Those games available today, and this is as of July 16th, so they've been out for a week.
And we talked about some of these, like I remember mentioning Magical Delicacy and Flock, I believe.
Flock, yes, we talked about Flock. It got delisted on some other platform, right?
Yes, but this one
that's a different Flock. This is part of why I got delisted.
This is the reason it got delisted?
No. I think the Flock that got delisted has exclamation points after it.
So Flock instead of Flock.
All right, hold on. I have the Flock that got delisted. I'm looking on Steam right now. Let me get
Live corrections.
Yeah. I missed that. Don't do that. Why would you do that?
They're not
Flock
using it. We
one,
might as well.
Flock with one exclamation point.
Flock, comma, exclamation point?
Flock, exclamation
Flock.
point.
Pause, space, exclamation
You can have
point.
that, yeah. So the Flock that got delisted is a UFO game that captures stray sheep. This looks like a guy riding birds with weird birds following him.
Weird birds.
I don't know how to
weird
describe it.
Flock of seagulls over here.
It looks like Flappy Bird. If you look at the image, it looks like Flappy Bird, right? Those birds are Flappy Bird adjacent. They're not perpendicular. They're adjacent to Flappy Bird.
Yes, very much so.
Hey, it won't install, but I'm keeping Flappy Bird on my phone. And I'm just trying to wait for it to come back eventually.
So you can sell
well,
it
you can
for
find
$2
it at
million.
the arcades.
I mean, you can, but it's not the legitimate one that the guy canceled out of reason for not wanting to keep up with it. This is like 3 iPhones later. I still have Flappy Bird on this bitch. Yeah, I can't download it, but it's like I can't let it go. It's like the PT of iPhone.
Oh, is it because of it's not compatible with the current version of iOS? Is that what it is? Yeah.
Somewhere, maybe a iPhone 6S, whatever the one I had before the 8 was. I have Flappy Bird on there.
You flapped the hell out of it?
I flapped that bird.
Flap that bird.
I sure shit did. I saw all the stolen assets and everything else, and still decided to flap that bird. It was a good game.
Oh damn. Let's see. Get back to
Brent's
this.
trying to recover.
Flintlock. The Siege of Dawn.
That's a good ass name. It's a good ass name. I like it.
Flintlock or Siege of Dawn?
I mean, just that whole subtitle, the Siege of Dawn.
The
How many people siege Dawn, man? Look at that.
Some people Hammer of Dawn.
Hammer of Dawn.
I'm always
Dawn.
Hammer of Dawn. I'm all in on that Fox-like companion.
Oh boy.
By now are all available. Looks like all of
A
these.
week later.
Yeah, just about. We have Kunitsugami, Path of the Goddess.
That is a big get. I've been
let's
seeing them
see.
advertising that nonstop.
We have a couple games here leaving July 31st, so of course you got to pick these up. By then, and you can also get 20% off before they go away.
No, Brent, we didn't talk about how we're all going to put in 10 hours in our
Oh
EA
yeah,
Sports
that's
College Football
huge.
25 early access trial.
I didn't know
Yeah.
that. I might queue that up. A free 10-hour trial of EA Sports College Football 25. That's awesome.
So which college team are you choosing, Brent? We gotta make sure we choose our home teams properly.
Mercer.
Let's see.
He's not gonna choose the Maryland Turtles.
Clayton State. I'm trying to pick a local team here.
Mercer.
Mercer Bears. Brant, who are you going with? Who's your powerhouse?
I can't go with Tech or Bulldogs or
nope. Keep going.
I mean, you can have Tech.
Florida State Seminoles.
You can go with Tech. I'm taking the Stanford Trees. So
Stanford Trees.
Richard knows that's my team, man.
I'll go with Screaming Trees.
Screaming Trees. I would take to the championship. R.I.P. Mark Lanigan.
Was it a Maryland Turpentines? That's my second close one because it's a ridiculous name for a team.
They're the Terrapins. They're not the Turpentines.
Terrapins.
I like Turpentines. Turpentines is way more interesting.
Turpentines. Damn.
Go Terps. Go Turpentines.
I was just like, those are just turtles, man. You're like, no, those are terrapins. Was it terrapins? I was like, what the fuck's a terrapin? I had to look it up.
It's like
it is
a fucking
turtle.
biting turtle. Turtle won't bite you.
Maryland Turtles. Let's go.
Turpentines. Turpentines, baby.
That's what they are around Christmas.
I'm just stuck on trees, man.
Oh, damn.
I just see the tree with like the googly eyes, just like dancing around in midfield.
Hey, there's many times where me and Richard did the podcast and we're watching Stanford and the trees are like this. I'm like, what the fuck am I watching? Then it shows the pylon camera like 85 times as they beat the shit out of it.
Are there any of those old games? Remember they used to have like the mascot challenges, so you could play those like the Gators versus Bulldogs. Like it would be the actual mascot. Do you use the Stanford trees? Will it be a tree out there in the mascot battle?
Better be.
I don't think I ever tried that.
Do you have a NCAA game we could try it on?
Which one? How old do we have to go?
I think the last one was 2016, right?
14, right?
2014 was the last one before this one, so I guess we can use 10-hour trial. 10 hours of tree violence.
Tree on tree violence?
10 hours of tree violence. I like that. Oh, Jesus.
How better would you spend your time?
Hey, man, Stanford Trees, man.
That actually thinks of me and my parents and my younger brother trying to get a Christmas tree at the Christmas tree farm. Back in the day with the single axe thing that you would be pulling on. Trying to cut that tree down.
Oh, the seesaw axe?
Yes. Oh, like those lumberjacks from Zelda. Was it Link? It is like Link to the Past. That
or the Looney Tunes S too. Somebody just keeps getting hit in the forehead.
Oh, somewhere the Roadrunner has given this type saw to the coyote to try to
Yeah, did you check it? Was it made by Acme?
Acme tree saw. Oh boy.
Oh, damn.
We got a lot of content out of that NCAA game.
Okay.
Sorry, Brand. You went back to what was leaving, and I brought you back to 10-hour trial.
Leaving. Leaving July
I'm
31st.
dying.
A Short Hike, Train Sim World 4, and Venba.
Venba's a good game. If nobody's played it, play Venba.
Then the big news, as of tomorrow, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 will be on Game Pass. And that is July 24th. That was kind of just announced.
Fruition, right?
Yep.
I mean, is it time to dust off our Modern Warfares and jump on with the friend of the show, Buish, and play the actual multiplayer modes?
I don't think Buish has been playing Warzone.
I mean, we don't have to Warzone. I mean, at this point, we could do multiplayer, right?
Yeah, we could just jump into multiplayer.
Why would we play multiplayer when we could play Warzone? Would we really? We'd just be mad at the game?
Be mad at different maps.
Aspects of the game?
Well, I mean, it's either that or 10 hours of tree violence. So
I kind of want the tree violence. Yeah.
I'm down for tree violence.
Amen. Damn, I didn't know that was in that tier. I would already been trying it out and playing it. Damn.
Man, people have been loving the hell out of some college football, man. I've been hearing nothing but great stuff everywhere in the office.
So there's a big argument, and this is not my take, but Madden has been doing this, MLB The Show has been doing this. We didn't need these reinventions every single year. We got to a point where we had a solid sports simulation, right? And even, like, I was working retail from PS2 to PS3 and original Xbox to 360 generations. Those original versions of those games were better than the next-gen versions when they came out. Like, Madden 06 for the 360 was severely downgraded product to Madden 06 on GameCube or Xbox or PS2. Yeah. And we got to a certain point where those sports sims, you started getting like the truck stick. You had enough features and gameplay that it was a good simulation of that sport, right? And the argument that I was reading was we don't need a new release every year. You could release a college football game and call it a certain thing and then just release a content update the next year for maybe $25 or $30.
No, just say it. Just say it. You roster update. Say it.
It's a roster update.
A roster update.
I mean, this is more significant now via the college game. Cesar brings this up because now the NCAA has reached an agreement with the athletes to feature their actual names. It used to be a memory card hack or a hard drive hack that you had to go in there and edit all of those names and positions and numbers. Now you don't have to do that. And would they give the athletes a free copy of the game or $100, something like that?
That seems familiar. We're hearing the $100 thing being tossed around. So
yeah, just send me the game.
But that's
awesome.
Most of them, I think, took it because it's pretty cool being in a video game, man. You know how often that's gonna last. So.
Right. You may have a maximum of 4 years, and then that's it. Anyways, we get 10 years. We get 10 free hours of potential tree violence against the Stanford Cardinal. Aren't they the Stanford Cardinal, and they're still the trees?
I think so. Are they even in the Pac-12 anymore?
What is the Pac-12?
I don't even know what the conferences are anymore because I don't even follow college football like you do. But man, I looked at it last year when everybody was swapping over. I'm like, what the fuck's happening here?
You saw a fantasy friend of the show, Kat Bailey, was rebuilding the Pac-12 in their desired image when the game came out. They were like, I don't like college football. Also, I'll rebuild the Pac-12 as I see fit. And Greg Miller's been taking his alumni, Missouri, through the dynasty stuff.
Mizzos or whatever. Yeah,
the Missouri Tigers.
It's still in the SEC, right?
Mm-hmm. But it's not the SEC West anymore. Coming up to this year, they're all combined into one.
Yeah, because they got too many teams now. So as you
they
fight
added
the
Texas and Oklahoma
hiccups.
I was trying to mute myself when I had the hiccups. I'm sorry.
Nah, you're good.
I'm trying to get around it.
Does that wrap everything up, Brant?
Yep, that's
Game Pass? We could talk about games played. It's that part of the show. I guess we'll hold off on Richard since he's needs to go get some water or something like that.
We should leave with Concord, but I will get some water.
Yeah, I mean we'll all hit up Concord at the end before. I mean I'll leave Concord for the end. For me, I played some Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. I was against it for whatever reason because I had emulated it on other means necessary and other handhelds and put 10 hours into it. And I was like, I don't know if I want to put another 10 hours into it. But for whatever reason, over the weekend, I went through and I literally gotten to the point where I left off on the other handheld hardware where I'm at the very end of Chapter 2. I've just got another friend. I mean, we went through at the very beginning of the game where it's Rogueport. You're Mario who got a letter from Princess Peach.
So for what hardware? You must have been playing on GameCube or Wii.
GameCube, emulated on GameCube, emulated on other GameCube stuff on Steam Deck. All right.
There we go.
But, yeah, it's a GameCube within a GameCube squared. Where you're in Rogueport looking for Princess Peach, and you end up running into Goombella, and you get into this whole story as you look for Peach to look for the crystal stars to open up a thousand-year door. So that's pretty much what it is. So each time you have the map from Princess Peach, who you find out has been kidnapped by the X-Nauts, which sounds like a naming convention from Elon Musk, but it's not.
Is it the sequel to Police Knots?
I can also take that as a possible naming convention as well. As well as Bowser, who's running around, who is not happy that Princess Peach has been kidnapped by somebody other than himself, and continues to bitch daily about how he doesn't care what Mario does with his life. So now I'm on the second part where Mario's in these boggly swamp woods or whatever, as I try to look for the second crystal star. So I mean that's pretty much as far as I've gone with it. It runs way better on Switch because when I had emulated it on Steam Deck or even on PC, there are certain aspects of that game which is very GPU heavy, and the frame rates would drop to like 10 frames per second. It's not the whole game, but it's like at certain aspects when you go into paper mode. So
it does that with the remaster?
At certain points.
Or the
no, I'm talking about the Steam Deck
emulation.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I originally just said, let me just play that native hardware. Now your stuff's passing on to me.
Yes, join me.
And yeah, I'm there. It's painful. The most enjoyable thing I've had on there is like you can get a badge so that you can change the music in that game to the GameCube music, which I did. So
instantly, or is it something you have to unlock?
You have to unlock. I think you pay 1 coin. You just go into the badge shop and buy. It's like, oh, I'll play GameCube tracks from the original game, and I did that, and I haven't looked back since. But that's about as far as I've gone. I've played that. I've learned for myself that every 3 years I decide I want to be Jack 1. And I went through and I beat Jack and Dexter 1. I did it on the PS4 emulated copy of PS2. I platinumed that game.
I do that every once in a while and I always get stuck in the same spot. And it's like, I guess I'm done here.
I did everything. I got all 101 of those stupid precursor orbs and got the stupid ending and got all the scout
ending.
Yeah, I got the scout flies and I did everything. I started playing 2 and this happens every time I play 2. I think it's such a jarring difference for me when you go to 2 that I was like, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't be playing this right now because it doesn't gel well for me because I know 2 is more story based. It is open world, kind of like a GTA aspect, right? Not as open as GTA, but you can just still,
and
bikes in there and
such a darker like shift in tone.
Yeah.
Like because I know that's the exact same. I don't even ever think I've 100% ever gone back to 2 and beaten it because I had the same shock. I mean, I played the first one and I loved it, and I mean, it felt kind of like a natural evolution to
Crash, right?
Like the Crash Bandicoot.
You even hear those crash sounds in there from the sound.
Oh yeah. Like, and then once you get into 2, it's like, whoa, this is completely different, and it kind of it feels different. Yeah, well, yeah, it's not just the tonality. I mean, it kind of controls different, and everything that's going on is different. You're like,
it's hard to
kind of thrown off going from one to the other.
It's hard to complete everything because precursor herbs are like freaking hidden, like backgrounds, and you're like, oh, I gotta get all the precursor herbs in this thing, and I'm going back and looking for them. It's like, this is a pain in the butt, man. Because I think as far as I've gotten, I found like, what is it? stuff happens. Jack gets kidnapped.
Mm-hmm.
As they go through a portal after the end of the first game, and this time skips 2 years, and he's been tortured for those 2 years because they're trying to make him into the Dark Warrior? I think that's what they called it.
Yeah.
Where they're feeding him with the Dark Eco, and he's going to kill Praxis is all he has when Daxter frees him. So at this point, it just strings you along where you're trying to join this underground group to get under Praxis, who is the leader of this town they're in, right? So that's the story of it so far. But I'm like what you said, Brent. It's such a huge jump for me. I lose interest after maybe an hour. I'm like, I kind of like the first game better. Yeah. And I've always heard good things about the story for the second and third one, but I'm like, I don't know if I want to go through and complete. I mean, I don't know. I hear good things about the story, but it's like it just doesn't play as well. And I was like, well, let me do something that's a palate cleanser and give it some time.
Come back to it.
Back to it. But I've done that before and never come back to it. So
same.
I don't know, because I fired up Daxter and I was like, maybe I should play Daxter, but then I stopped because I was like, maybe I should play Jack 2, because I know those games kind of coincide near each other, because I think Daxter's a couple months before Jack 2, I think, like 2 months before he frees him. So it doesn't even go behind the full 2 years that he's been there. So I don't know. I'm still iffy on that game. So outside of the other, I mean, I'll talk about the games we play together, but I'll wait at the end and let y'all tie that in. So if Richard's feeling a little bit better here, I'll pass the buck to him. I mean, that's pretty much all I played this week was some Paper Mario and Jack and Daxter. Emulated on PS4 with PS2, which sucks, by the way, Richard. I think we'd be better off waiting until those games get I'd still drop them the PS5 one, because I missed the rewind.
Yep.
I died many bullshit deaths.
Yep.
Many bullshit deaths, and I was like, that is very irritating, having to go back and redo some stuff.
I was thinking the same thing with like the God of War games and the Ratchet and Clank games from back in the day.
It is a game changer for me.
Mm-hmm.
I went ahead and finished the game, but it was very cumbersome, because there were some times I'm like, okay, I can accept that, but there's some deaths on there like that's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair. It's like what Brand always argues, that hitbox. That hitbox is it's not nice in some of these games. I mean, but yeah. Outside of that, I don't know if I would recommend it for everybody to go out and play, but especially since we have a new method of doing it, and I'm 100% certain at some point they're going to drop it on that emulator, because they got to get that game running perfectly on PS5. That's just my opinion.
Please.
But that is all that's all I've played this almost 2 weeks. I'll pass the buck to Richard or Brant, whoever wants to go. Please take the microphone. I did my TED Talk.
I'll stay on your generational train. Take a shot if you've heard this before. I started up a playthrough of Final Fantasy X on the PlayStation 2. Once again, did another deep dive of where's the best place to play this game. And everyone loves the sphere grid, the expert sphere grid and the regular sphere grid on the remaster. Everyone hates the facial reconstruction that was done on the models on the remaster. So think PS3, Steam, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch versions all got like the same remastered effects and stuff. So I was like, you know what? I'm down here. I want to fire this up. I was kind of tinkering with some bookshelf speakers that I got for my CRT, and I put like an hour into Final Fantasy X. Of course, the hero Tidus, his life immediately gets turned upside down. He ends up in a place he's not sure of. Fighting monsters he's never seen before. And so there's a little bit where you play the world he's in, where you kind of see his celebrity status, and then he's sucked away into a dream, like with his dad. Like there's some daddy issues there, so I'm always down for some conflict regarding that. And then he is in a drowned, damaged world, I guess you could say. Like he still doesn't know where he's at. We don't know where he's at, that sort of thing. And he's trying to figure out why he got pulled out of his life of luxury and privilege, and why he's where he is. So I'm playing on a CRT on the fat PS2, the original PS2 model, and it's a phenomenal looking game. It looks great. It's one of those where I maintain maybe if we had stuck with CRTs, we don't need a bunch of HD remasters for some of these titles. Metal Gear Solid 2 maybe is one of them. Metal Gear Solid 3 is maybe one of them. Jack and Daxter's maybe one of them. Ratchet and Clank is maybe one of them. Sly Cooper's maybe one of them. Going back to Cesar's emulation, I watched a video recently. That whole like Sly Cooper, the PS5 copy that we got with the rewind features and all that. There's level music in the first level when you're like learning to sneak around, like hit the circle button, Sly, to grab onto stuff and like sneak around. There's background music to that whole level, and we never hear that in the remaster or the PS5 port. It's just missing that. So if that's one of your things, like the facial features with the, again, I know I'm speaking from a certain level of I have access to the original way to play this and the original display model of how this is meant to be viewed. So a lot of that was skewed for the audience for the time and who needed to experience that and the current display technology. So I do recognize that. Final Fantasy X, I still have never beaten, despite many startups and playthroughs. And
No.
what was it last time I played on Vita, I think?
Yeah. I mean, that was the one you had bragged to us, like, oh, this is the way I'm going to beat it. I got it
so
this time,
far.
guys.
I got so far in the Vita, and I don't know what happened. Something else came out or something. But
I think it came out on Switch, and then you debated for like months.
I imported the
Switch
Asia.
gameplay.
I imported the Asia copy that had both of them on the cartridge.
On one cart.
Yep.
Yeah. The Namco Bandai version.
Yep. So I did notice this. This was leading to a sidebar. This PS2 memory card that I had to create the save file for, it has a save file for Suikoden 2 on it, which is a PS1 game.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't for the life of me figure out how my PS2 Magic Gate 8 megabyte memory card, like legitimate, it's a Sony memory card, non-modded, nothing, it's not a modded system. I can't figure out why that has a save copy for Suikoden 2 on it. Did it have some sort of weird crossover with the second generation of PlayStation memory cards, or is it some sort of hack that somebody copied it over potentially?
I want to say there was an ability to move it over to the memory card because I think you could transfer it to 3. I don't think you got any characters for 3, but I think there were some bonuses on.
So there was an ability. I mean, that save file has like 170 hours on it, so I'm imagining they put some decent time to Suikoden 2.
I would love to do the exact same thing, but I guess we're still waiting on Konami to figure that shit out. So
I mean, I have a save file for you if yours is not still hanging around.
The
offer's there.
I gotta look at my memory.
This
card,
person
that's
was a
good point.
Suikoden fan because there is save files for 2, 3, 4, and 5 on this memory card. I started scrolling through. I was like, where did this memory card come from? And it's got
5 is the best one I've ever played. So 2's, I don't know, 2 and 5 are up there.
I hear the same thing about 5. 5 brought friend of the show Andrew back around to RPGs after 20 years of not enjoying any sort of RPG. Before we get to Concord, sticking with that same generation, I finally folded and bought the Beyond Good and Evil 20th Anniversary Edition. The remake, I guess it is. It's not a remaster. It's more of a remaster than a remake.
I thought you said Beyond the Beyond. I was like, whoa.
Beyond the Beyond Good and Evil. I do have a copy of Beyond the Beyond. I could stream that. I love Camelot RPGs. Don't threaten me with a good time.
I've got a digital copy on my PS3. I'm waiting for the eventual day they drop it on PS4, PS5.
Did that come out for PSN for PS3?
Yeah, that way we can pressure Brandon to playing it.
I bought Alundra a couple of weeks ago. I need to get Beyond the Beyond. Is it still available? Do you know?
I don't know because that's a Sony published RPG. Alundra, even though it was published by Working Designs, is also Sony owned, so they would probably bring it out.
Yeah. So I bought this for Steam Deck, and based off of Y2K 2K4, I had a couple extra hours made available to me that I didn't previously know were going to be.
What, not Y2K and again?
Yeah, Y2K and again. And so I talked a couple weeks ago about playing the PS3 version of the HD one. and I got past that. I got to the hovercraft. Like there's an open world section that kind of opens up with the hovercraft where you have to go find some parts for your hovercraft. Cesar, did you get past that point? Were you talking about that last week or 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, from the Psy, the rhinoceros,
Yeah,
and then people.
Yeah, you go to the shop with it's all run by rhinoceros individuals.
And then I've gotten that part. I went into the first dungeon-like area where you're hired to take photos of these monsters for a guy in a limousine. It's like, oh, my client in the back, and I completed that dungeon. Quotations around dungeon.
I've met him. I haven't done the dungeon.
So I'm a little bit further than you. Okay. Yes. Sorry, I had to recant what I did, but I'm a little bit further than you because I've already found out who was actually behind that, and I'm going to the Resistance. So.
It plays phenomenally on Steam Deck, so you have to verify with your Ubisoft online account, whatever that thing is.
Yeah. I thought you were going to overpay for the game and wait until after December to get it.
I will do that. Don't think that that's out of the question. But I wanted to play it now, so I got it on Steam Deck, and I played the digital copy on Steam Deck. It plays phenomenally on there. You have to check in with the Ubisoft. It's not Ubisoft Connect because that's their launcher. What am I thinking of? It's like Uplay.
Uplay, yeah.
Yep. Sign in with Uplay.
You have to admit that game still is true to that PS2 version, right? They really didn't upgrade the graphics. The models are still PS2-ish, and it's I don't know if I would say it's a remaster. It's not a remake.
So I touched on Final Fantasy X earlier, right? And we didn't need a HD remaster if we had kept with the same.
And you make a good point if you make a good point because people have made that arguments where they want the OG Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy X dropped in like that PlayStation emulator.
Yeah.
So because they said like the remasters, like you said, the remasters we got, it looks like a completely different game.
Right.
So
you have to change the way that because the way these games were, it's not just graphically, it's not 480 by whatever 240. It's not interlaced graphics. It's not distilling it down to the level of the technical aspects of the system without including the constraints of that system, right? So you had the original PS1 had 2 megabytes of VRAM. Like that's what they had to work with for Metal Gear Solid. The three of us consider a masterpiece, right? 2 megs of video RAM. I think the original PlayStation is 8. The PlayStation 2 is 8. So there were things that were done creating these games that were built around the constraints of the technology and the display type. So that's part of the whole thing. And as Cesar was saying, it would be nice to play that version of those games without the technical limitations regarding that bottlenecked, the things that bottlenecked like frame rate and not resolution, because resolution doesn't really matter, right? If you're playing on a Steam Deck and you're playing a PS2 game, we've all emulated PS2 on our Steam Deck. It looks phenomenal, right? We have no issues there. It looks amazing.
You bring up a good point because you lose, like you said, the aesthetic. Some of that feel it plays differently for the time because they utilize that hardware better and they make those games come to life.
Right.
But I think that's like you said, that's the negative effect of a remaster because they're trying to up the resolution and they make those changes because it's like, oh, it won't flow well facial animation wise, with what we're doing with it. So we're just going to change that outlook, and that kind of changes the flow of the game. So like if you played it originally, you lose all those extra emotions you see in those characters' faces. They're more bland. I mean, you do get the game, but there was a lot of little touches like that in there that helped brought that game to life. Because I mean, back in the day, and I know you and Brant can speak to this. Making that jump from Final Fantasy 6 to 7 and 7 to 10. In that short time span of like less than 3 years for all of them.
We've never had gaps like that. We've never had gaps like that since. There was a whole thread on Twitter where somebody was like, here's Final Fantasy 7 in 1997 and here's Final Fantasy 10 in 2001, and there were 2 other gems in between this, like masterpieces. And it's just,
and you would argue that 9 looked good. 9 looked better, way better than 7. So, I mean, like even 8.
8 was phenomenal. Better looking than 7, right?
Yeah.
The Resident Evils had those same type jumps. Like, look at what the Resident Evil games. Look at what the Tomb Raider games did. They were able to maximize the potential out of such limited hardware by pushing it and really learning stuff. And I think Naughty Dog is probably the best, most recent example of those who could really push hardware specs and get the most out of a set platform. But I think that's, and I've talked about this on the podcast before, like a Symphony of the Night. What if we got a true Symphony of the Night successor on?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Brant, stop drilling, Brant.
Yeah, it's 2D art, but with all the other effects and stuff that they could pull off in the background. You know, that 2D HD. Why has that not been applied to a Castlevania game yet? That seems so easy.
It's a no-brainer, right? It's like a no-brainer.
It's a no-branter.
No-branter, yeah. They need to hire a new community manager, and it just needs to be Brant. Like I know how to make a good Castlevania game, guys. Let me in.
I'm Brant. I know how to make a good Castlevania. Not Kojima.
That's my resume. That's the only thing on his resume. I'm Brant. I know how to make a Castlevania game.
I've never fallen off a Castlevania game faster than I did the Kojima one. That Lords of Shadow, I fell off so fast. I think it's oddly paced because it's so story heavy, and I think the thing that makes Castlevania games and it's always been the gameplay, right? And it just feels like it's so much in between. It's so much getting in your way for the gameplay that it just takes the fun out of it. Because I did the same thing for me. I'm like, story's okay, but it's like every time I just want to play the level's too short. It doesn't have that exploration like it was. Like, I can go back and go right on the fork in the road, but what other different things do I see? You know, I'm like, you miss that sense of wonder you have by just exploring. Exactly. I fell off that so bad.
That area.
And it's one of those, like, I don't really watch playthroughs of games. I don't want to watch somebody play something I could play. I think I would watch that for Lord of Shadows. I would just watch someone play through that game like a movie, because that's how cinematic that presentation is. Beyond Good and Evil and Final Fantasy X for Steam Deck and PlayStation 2, respectively. Outside of some Concord that I played with you guys, but...
We can let Brand start off the Concord fun.
His games played, and then segue us into some Concordage.
I mean, not a whole lot. I mean, I do remember I played some more Kingdom Hearts 2.
Steam Deck?
Steam Deck, of course. I've got
Brant,
to the part where I
find the secret boss for Birth by Sleep. Do it. I want to see it after seeing that video. I didn't even know that was a thing.
That thing is that is ridiculous.
What'd y'all find?
I think he sent it to you.
I sent it to you.
You saw it?
Did I watch it? I don't think I watched it.
I don't know.
You told us about it.
It's one of those secret bosses, and I'm pretty sure some of those you have to play on like the hardest difficulty anyway, and do some specific shit to get to it, and then it's one of those bosses where it's almost at least it looks impossible. It's doable for somebody, but it does not look like a fun time at all.
Doesn't look like something you want to enjoy your free time with.
The video, just for everybody listening, that Cesar sent us, is somebody saying they're just yelling at the fact that it's an RPG, and your character is literally getting beat into a corner, like over and over by this boss, and he says, it's an RPG. Oh yeah, it's an RPG. What role am I playing? The victim?
Yeah.
The abusador?
I'd never seen that before. It's like I don't even know how you survive that fight. It's like 85 lightsabers on top of your body. I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. It's like he couldn't even get a hit in. He was like floated up until he died. He was like, oh. The classic Kingdom Hearts death where they're like floating down like this.
Real quick, I'll talk about I did see a limited run game that was we talk about remasters. It closed the other day, and it was one of those where it's like, I'm pretty sure I have that game. I don't know if I need the remaster. And it was the
Rocketeer.
Dark Forces.
Oh,
yes, Dark Forces.
Star Wars Dark Forces. So I found it over here, popped it into the PlayStation. I was like, I'm pretty sure this is the Doom clone.
You do have a copy for PlayStation?
Yes.
Okay. I was going to tell you, I think I have a spare.
And yes, it is the Doom clone. Yes. I was playing through the first level, and I mean, it is 100% the Doom clone, where it's like you go over here, you walk over here, do some stuff, kill all these people, all the stormtroopers, Oh yeah, red key. Okay, now walk
The
over
lights
here.
turned off in this room.
But you were saying, games, whether they do need a refresh or not. This one, the frame rate, and I was playing on my fat PS2 via backwards
PS2
compatibility on the
Fat
CRT.
Club, fam.
And yeah, the frame rate would dip. Some of those um, textures, you'd be walking through and looking at them, and I started to get kind of queasy. I'm like, oh gosh, oh
Oh,
gosh,
especially
this
when
is
you get in
looking
the
bad.
sewer. Did you get in the sewer level?
Oh,
Is it that bad?
it's that bad.
Oh.
It's that
They
bad.
they combine. They do nifty things with it. They try to make that into the art style, but it's a struggle.
Has any of us played that remaster at all?
I've not played the remaster. I have the PlayStation version.
No.
Brant, my first exposure to this was on in between Steve Jobs leaving Apple and coming back to Apple. Apple licensed their Mac OS to other vendors like 3DO style. So you would have like a Toshiba 3DO or a Gold Star or whatever. And we had it was called an E-Machine Super Mac, and it ran Mac OS. And we had burned copies of Diablo, Dark Forces, Warcraft. Like Russell and I had a couple games that would play on that Super Mac. Dark Forces was one of them, and it was cool. It was the first game where you could hear, and the PlayStation version did this too. You could hear that John Williams score coming through over the MIDI. It wasn't it was shrunk down, but it wasn't to the level of like Super Star Wars where it's a representation of the soundtrack over like the 16-bit.
It's like an homage,
Yeah.
16-bit style,
Yeah.
or something like that. Yeah.
But the MIDI, you didn't have to squint as hard to hear the John Williams score in that MIDI soundtrack on that PlayStation version. It still plays well. I know what Brant's saying, but
Yeah, it still
if-
plays very
yeah.
but
But this is probably a
Visually,
pretty solid.
yeah.
Oh boy.
With those frame rate stutters
Yeah.
and those textures,
I want to get that remaster. I do.
I'd be interested in maybe getting that digitally. I didn't need to splurge.
Oh
for
yeah,
the
pay $39
physical.
for it because it's going to be at some point $10, right? At $10 you get that license. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not one of the god tier ones that Richard always hopes for, where you own the old version on Steam, you automatically get the best version
Yep.
since it's got a different developer and everything. So
That is a good game though, and that was one of the first great uses outside of maybe Super Star Wars and Shadows of the Empire. It was right before Shadows of the Empire. That was a great use of the Star Wars license. That was right at that Star Wars renaissance. Don't call it a comeback.
oh yeah, when Episode 1 came out and all that stuff, like when it started.
Yeah, the re-release
back
is
in-
like the special edition of 4, 5,
The
and
bastard
6.
versions.
Yeah. Yeah, the bastard versions.
The ones they always release on Blu-ray, never the old G70s.
Vaseline under the land speeder. No, they got rid of the Vaseline under the land speeder.
Yeah, and whoever shot who first or whatever.
Hey, I have 480p copies of those laser discs if you guys need copies of that. It's on my PS3 right now. It's been there for like 15 years. I have good copies of those movies, the non-special
Bram.
edition versions.
Didn't mean to derail you. Continue on your
You brought up Star
Wait,
Wars, Brant. You brought this.
Yes,
you
I
brought
did.
this on.
I
Carry
your-
on.
brought that up.
carry
Brought
on
that upon
Weber's son.
myself.
Yeah.
You shot first.
I also did
Sad face.
pick up. I also picked up some Switch games. So first off, I want to show
games
you
acquired.
some RPGs.
Yay.
Sea of Stars.
Sea of
The
Stars.
game is good.
Much recommended by Richard.
I need to
Also
go back
much
to it.
recommended by Richard.
Final Fantasy 9.
Yes.
Final Fantasy
My
9.
last attempted playthrough with friend of the show Russell that fell off.
That as we all knew what happened as with 4. I think 4 was continued by Mark's Knight,
He fell off of that too.
and he fell off of that as well. Yeah, I remember he was like doing progress reports on there every.
He's
couple
on the
days,
moon.
like, oh.
He's on the moon. He just needs to finish it. He's there.
And then I'll tick Richard off a little bit because I went to his favorite games retailer,
Target.
No.
Best Buy.
The stop of the games.
Oh, it's not my favorite.
The slop of the
I'm
games.
confused.
But I went to the one, of course, by my house, and they had a decent priced version of Cotton Reboot.
Nice.
So I picked that up.
As
well done.
does.
And on top of that, my copy.
I don't have one.
Yeah.
I don't have one.
Nintendo
I bought
World
it 6
Championship.
fucking months ago, and I don't have a copy of this fucking game.
You guys see? You see what came with my Japanese copy? Ooh.
Nice.
I hate video games.
See, we got the speaker out there, Richard. We can use the speaker and try to trick each other now.
Blow into it.
Yeah.
I have a Famicom. We could blow into the controllers now. We could do that for the past 40 years. Where's my purchase history? Brant, have you played that? Well, for the audio listeners, what'd you have?
The Nintendo World Championship NES Edition.
Here we go.
So that is
Pre-ordered May 9th, 2024. Arriving Wednesday, July 24th. Sure. It's in Ellenwood via FedEx, so it's hanging out with my PS5.
I'd say it released last Thursday, technically. So
Yeah. What the hell's your copy?
The one Brant just showed us. Cesar, what happened? They built a Kenny Rogers Roasters outside your door?
I'm developing film.
Are your rods and cones all screwed up?
I'm developing.
Jerry,
film,
I'm on the red planet. My rods and cones are all screwed up.
Oh my god. Good reference.
Developing film. I like that just as much.
Oh, Jesus. And then other than that, before Richard may have taken a trip on a jet plane,
you did as well.
And after, we got to play some Concord.
Concord, the grape jelly.
And Cesar's pre-ordered it. Richard loves it. I'm still on the fence, playing devil's advocate. Always.
I might be on the fence.
I mean, it doesn't look good. Like a lot of the excitement for this game coming out does not look good. So, I mean,
it's a game.
You could be on the fence about it. I mean,
all right. What's the background of this game? Y'all paint the picture. Is this free to play? Or am I paying $70 for this retail SKU? What exactly is this, and what am I doing in it?
What do we determine? It's $40. It's a $40 game.
It's $40, and you have a digital deluxe edition, which is a big thing, which makes it $60. But it's a game, as Brant could probably articulate better than I would, that tends to do stuff from other games that do it on a much cheaper basis than $39.99, as in
free to play.
So,
Brant, did you cough there? I didn't hear you fully.
Maybe, yeah.
So I think some of the arguments that Brant is alluding here, that it doesn't stand itself out as a title where that you're going to pay money on, because he could literally play Overwatch, he literally can play Destiny, he can play Halo, he can play that stuff that is trying to emulate Warzone, or Call of Duty, or
there's other options in this space, right?
Right. So I think what Sony's trying to do is similar to, and these are two different games, but similar to like Helldivers, where they're trying to offer a premium SKU where, like, all right, you don't have to. They're trying to beat out the whole free to play gotcha mechanic where, like, oh, you have to do this and do that to get this and that. So here's just pay $40 to get everything up front outside of cosmetics. Like you can buy stuff,
right,
but it's cosmetics, kind of like the whole Helldivers thing. But Helldivers is a unique experience that is not really done by other games. Even that's kind of weighing down in its concurrent players, and that's probably going to come back up with the new announcement of their expansion coming out soon.
There's nothing like Helldivers still.
I think it's the whole PvE thing, and it's down in there. It's very different because we've done PvP for the longest time, and it gets frustrating because it's like when we played Concord, we all enjoyed it on the the PS Plus beta, right? We had a great time, and when it came open beta and we had other people in there, it was not much as fun.
Got our asses
I
whooped.
suck at first-person shooters. Yeah, it's like it reminds me why I don't like to play Warzone sometimes. It's like we sit there and play Warzone, and we have really bad games for 6 hours, and then we look at it like, oh, man, I played 6 hours of Warzone. This is all I got.
Or Master
It's just
or
me
Master
being
Chief
angry.
Collection on that same argument.
Yeah. So I mean, I would argue Master Chief Collection, even though I do get pretty upset about it. Master Chief Collection seems to be we get a fair gamble on that one, in my opinion. But it's like
it's hit and miss, just like the others.
But I do agree with Richard. I think from what we played, I still get those vibes of like Halo Infinite,
It feels
or
like
when we
it
played
feels
those
like Halo to me, with
when
more
we played that
specific
4x4.
characters.
Yeah, when we play 4x4, 4 versus 4, it's fun. It seems to be fun when we do that. At least that mode where you just do the standard killing. I forgot what it's called on there. Because it got weird names.
I wanted to say takedown, but I picked takedown.
We call
and
it,
ended up
yeah,
being
we just
something
call
else.
it deathmatch or card.
Deathmatch.
Slayer.
It's standard, yeah.
Slayer.
Team Slayer.
Yeah.
Team Slayer.
Yeah.
Or the mode where you get the cards, where you drop a card on death.
That is
so
a
does the
great
enemy.
element. I love
Yeah.
the card pickup thing.
And then we found out later that it rotates. Like there's some you don't need cards, some you got to get the cards. So
Yeah.
that aspect, I think I enjoy that part on there too. The stuff where it does like the Counter-Strike-esque, build the bomb, protect the bomb, or kill everybody in the squad, then change your characters. That seems cumbersome unless you have the feeling that you're going to go through all these characters and bond with them. But as Brent has alluded to, some of these characters are annoying as hell, and some of them are not fun to play, like Richard's Dustbin.
Oh, fuck that dude.
He does not like the Dyson vacuum cleaner
He
guy.
vacuums.
So-
he never shoots. I died.
I don't know how.
I was a pure
He's such an
pacifist
easy
run.
person to kill. He's such an easy person to kill. And what was the other mode that he introduced in the public beta? It was the zones, right? Zones was the other one, which
like
was
a King of the Hill type
which
thing.
was which had a King of the Hill version on there as well as and part of the rotation, which is okay. I think if we get good enough, that might be something you can add in the rotation. You know what I mean? I don't know. I think to make Brandt's argument, for us, I guess as a crew, and for me, I can't speak for you guys, but for me, it can be tough to sit there and pay $39.99 to be angry about shit. I can do that in other video games, like play Brandt's Birth by Sleep and find that secret boss and be angry as I get torn from side to side, and I could do that there. Because normally when we play multiplayer, we all play for fun, right? And we always seem to not be happy when we have a frustrating time, right? We were all in on that first PlayStation Plus beta because it seemed like, okay, we can enjoy it. It was fair. We lost some matches. It was fair.
Like a 50-50 win-loss thing. We don't expect to win every single round. We're not crying because we don't win every single round.
And then, when it went public beta, it's like, oh, we're facing the gods of Concord, who magically took a week to, I guess, put thousands of hours in this game to get very good on there. And like, there's some matches we're losing. Like, how the hell are we losing? Like, we're all grouped together. We're getting destroyed. They group together. They're destroying us. I'm like, I don't know what we're doing differently outside of maybe these play styles are different on these characters. But I've never, as a person, I'm going to let this and give it back to you guys because I don't want to sit here all day. I never, as a person, played more. I'd never got into Overwatch. I've always been big on when I play PC, and I first got my Steam account like 2004. I played a shit ton of Counter-Strike or Team Fortress. There was a mode where I loved it and played it every day. I had a great time with those. Don't get me started on Team Fortress 2 because at some point when I built my PC, I got 7.1 surround sound PC speakers, and I had speakers around my whole room, and I could hear people coming from behind me. And when they're going through the door, it's like, I got you, bitch. And I turned around and just killed them. So I did that a lot.
Damn.
So, it was a lot of fun. I don't know. At this point, like as Richard has said many times on this podcast, we have so little time for things because everybody's busy with their personal life. It's hard to pay for something we're frustrated with, and it seems like this game is going to be just frustration. And it's not. Is it worth $40 just to play for one mode that we like, which is cog tags and deathmatch?
Tags, basically,
That's essentially what I can agree with Brand on that one. It would just be better as free because that's probably the only mode we would probably go in there and enjoy. Because unless we get good enough to do the other ones, and we don't even know what the fourth mode is, right? That never opened up in beta, so we have no idea what that is. So
we played around to that zone.
It's gonna be interesting.
We played around to that King of the Hill zones, and we never got a point. They swept us the whole way.
It took us the third game till we finally got 1 point, and we were satisfied. Like we got 1 point, and we still lost because they were like.
I was happy just to get 1 point. Like because you have to hold two of the three zones to get a point, and we had played a whole round and never got two of the three zones. Everywhere I went, it was
It's
5 people looking at me. I was like, where are these other people at?
it was still inconsistent. There was 4 of us. We always had our 5th drop.
And they never fill that
Yep.
person in with you. We never had a
Yep.
5th person that we knew and could talk to on the chat.
So I mean, I can agree with Brain on that stuff. I can agree with you on that stuff. But that's how I feel about it. I mean, and as Richard alluded, Zone's King. I mean, that King of the Hill one. I don't know. I just know that Counter-Strike mode with the terrorists versus SWAT for that whole thing, where I hated that mode. I hated it because it's like, what was the point of me planting the bomb if I could just go there and kill that whole squad?
Yeah.
And that's what the squad was doing, right? They weren't even fighting the bomb.
Out to kill us before doing
They let them
get
the bomb. Yeah. Let them get the bomb, and then we'll just kill all of them. If there's only like 1 or 2 of them left, then we take the bomb and go over there. Yeah. That's not fun to me. But that's my part. I'm gonna let y'all talk about it. That's what I feel about it. So,
I mean, I think you made a compelling argument. I don't know if there's much more to add. Like, I would keep this in the rotation as a free-to-play game, but as at a $40 SKU, I'm hesitant. I don't know that that's something I want to see. And then there's the backside of, like, not a lot of people played when it opened up on Steam players. Not a lot of people were there. Like, what is this game going to be? Are they marketing the right game at the wrong time, or the wrong game at the right time? Like, what is I don't think they know the right formula there. And me as the consumer, I don't know that I want to pick up the $40 for attempting to help them figure it out. It's not like Helldivers. And you gambled on Helldivers, Cesar. You were way ahead of the curve on that. And talked us into getting it. You talked friend of the show, Russell, into buying a PS5 to play it, and that's all he has ever played for his PS5.
He always talks about playing other things, but I never think he will.
He never has. He's a dedicated Helldivers machine. He hasn't fired up a single other thing. I keep pushing that free 2-hour Final Fantasy 16 demo on him. I was like, just try this game. And it's a dedicated Helldivers thing for him. So, and he's perfectly happy with that. And there's a content update coming up, but
he's super excited about it. He sent it to us all on chat, telling everybody like it's coming.
I don't know. I get frustrated with Helldivers, but I think I'm ready to dip back into Helldivers before I am pay for Concord again. But they have something there. That's the part that I'm struggling with, because I sincerely feel like they have something there.
So I do have a good experience with a lot of these different free-to-play games. And
with like specifically Overwatch that you
with a lot of the hero shooters and stuff like this. And I mean, they don't do a good job of describing the characters and their actions and everything, especially once you get into a match or anything. It's like you've got it feels like 4 or 5 seconds to pick your character, and then you're in, and you've just got to figure it out.
It is Dark Souls of free-to-play shooters. That is not free-to-play.
A lot of those other hero shooters, you have to have some kind of balance to your team, as far as like the roles of each character. Like you want
Helldivers has a similar, you need to spec out your characters according to the rest of the team.
But like you need, you most likely need a healer, and you need some people that are going to be, more mobile, and then you need the more tanky characters and everything. And this, it's just like, you can really just pick whoever you want. As long as you're good with that character, you can run it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what the objective is. It doesn't matter what else you're doing. As long as you can go ahead and get the kills, you're fine. Now, like what Richard's saying, the game is smooth. It plays great.
Looks great.
And what they're doing with it doesn't feel bad at all. But yeah, with the amount of other things out there, like Cesar said, that are free to play and are doing the same things, but it doesn't really make much sense.
It's like, I don't mean to interrupt you, Brent, but you bring up a good point. It's like, I mean, it's cool you get all these in one game, but it's like, I mean, you can just go through the trouble of just launching all those other free ones. I mean, it just all depends on your time. Like, you don't want to sink into 3 separate games, but I think most people would rather sink into 3 separate games and pay $40 for something that other games do better. It seems like it's good, but the other games have been doing it longer and at a lower price range. So
I mean, the 3 of us, we want to fire up a Saturday night stream. We all have Warzone. We could just play Warzone.
Yeah.
And get a similar thrill. I don't know there's a compelling argument to purchase this game over streaming one of those and having hijinks and fun and things like that. Or we all own Helldivers, or we all own Master Chief Collection. I think that's they've come so far at the end of this wave and they're doing some cool things. I love the cutscenes with the characters, and the characters are all very, very unique. They're very specifically different. Like, none of them that I have played, because the three of us played a mode where if you won a round, you had to choose a new character the next go round.
Yeah.
And we never won after that first round. They ran us after that with new people. That's when I picked the
we chose one
can.
that usually between you and Brand, you guys were the only ones that went between two characters at least. I've always chose the same character. Yes, indeed.
I got forced to pick that different character. If I could pick my character, I've been the Rocket Girl every single time. I can lock in on those rockets. Oh, the game did Master Chief Collection us too. I forgot about that. Y'all loaded into a game, and I'm joking about my loading noise, and I'm just sitting at the screen. You guys are in a game. I was like, well,
and you couldn't join us after the fact, even though we had an open roster spot.
Yeah,
so it's crazy.
You were empty, and it said join game. It was grayed out. I couldn't even jump in there with y'all.
So, I'm assuming they probably lock it down. I don't think anybody can join us after the fact. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, people drop.
You can leave, but you can't. Yeah, you're screwed.
Because
sucks because we played against people that we were 5 against 3.
I was about to say we won some rounds that were way overmatched versus the opponent.
Mm-hmm.
It's good, but man, this is a free to play product. I don't think this is a paid SKU, and I would support this free to play. I would jump in on the model of like, what does that battle pass look like? Maybe I pay $10 for this character, or maybe I pay $15 for this mode and a boost of the whatever that dopamine hit is of leveling up or weapons or whatever they want to call it in this.
I think Brandt's right. I think at some point, I don't know if they would throw this out on one of their services. They may or may not. I do see them coming out and rolling back and coming out with like a free to play version where like, all right, you do have to pay to unlock certain characters or some nonsense like that. I do see them rolling that back out. Like, oh, you pay $40 to get everything, and, pay, it's free to play with one character and pay, more to get others, So, but then again, that would defeat the whole purpose of this game on the whole hero aspect, right? I mean, the whole point is that you try to play different characters. So that kind of puts itself in a weird corner at that point, I don't know. I don't know. This is going to be interesting. So, I mean, I don't think this game's going to be a hit. I think we're going to see the reviews. They're going to be average. They're going to say, yes, this game is cool, but other games do it better. I think that's what we're going to see, and I think this game is going to struggle really profusely unless there's a secret mode on there. So that's game-changing.
As of this recording, it's July 23rd. Is there any chance they take this PlayStation Plus beta and the open beta and decide, hey, maybe this is one of our free games for August, and we try to inject a player base via making that free for PlayStation Plus?
I think they will.
I'm way more excited to play it again via PlayStation Plus if that's the case.
I think for console it's great, but I think you need that fan base from PC more though, because that PC fan base is going to carry this game.
But this isn't Helldivers. I don't know if they're trying to replicate that $40 Helldiver PS5/PC experience, or I mean, lightning in a bottle is one thing, but
it's just got. I mean, most of these type of games are on PC, man. I don't know. I think it defeats the whole purpose of releasing on PC, but
you have other compelling arguments over this on PC already at free to play, not at $40. So
that's what I'm saying.
That's where that prospect is like, I don't know what that means for a retail SKU.
I would rather them do something on PC because I'm going to bring that base on there than it would on console. Because console is just they're so wishy-washy, man. So I don't know.
The game is good. I know we've been kind of sour on the prospect and the value and things like that. We enjoyed our time with it. Brant was kind of meh, but
yeah, it was all right. Yeah. It really was. It wasn't a terrible game.
The only negative aspect of this game is the entry price, right? That's the only thing. If this was a free to play, we would be, this is actually pretty good. I mean, this is something I could add on my rotation. I might drop something else off that we would have been having a totally different conversation, right?
I had about 5 days in which I couldn't play my PlayStation 5, and we had just come off playing the PlayStation Plus. Was it PlayStation Plus beta? First off, yeah.
Which originally was only going to be pre-order beta, and then they came back and like, well, if you have PlayStation Plus, you guys are all in there.
So. I spent that time in that gap thinking about, man, I would rather be playing this game with my friends right now than doing whatever it was I was doing. And after this past weekend, I still felt like this was the one we could drop back to and play some more of and have a good time with, especially with 5 people. We never had a full squad of just us. We always had some wild card, random elements. And I will say this, they never carried us. It was never like we had this super rando that just took us to the top. They never took us to the promised land.
Yeah.
They just kind of fit in with whatever our skill level was. It wasn't like a major contribution, so...
I don't know, man. This game's gonna have a real uphill battle for it. So I think
it is, and I don't know that there's any particular fault to it. I don't know if there's any particular way to point out like this is why this is not good, because it's a great video game. I think it's phenomenal. I enjoyed a lot of playing that.
Great game. Maybe the right price, just all at the wrong time.
Timing.
It's too little, too late. I mean, if this would have came out right around Fortnite, right after around that time,
blown people away.
Yes, yeah. And then maybe even made paid SKUs as more of a viable option. But paid SKUs as a viable option now is going to be a tough sell.
Is this only Steam and PS5? Is it a PS4 SKU at all?
It's Steam and PS5 only. Yeah.
Is there anything that looks like it wouldn't run on PS4?
I mean, graphically probably, and maybe the loading in there, maybe it.
I mean, the loading is masked by the cool animations of like the ship flying through space and the new, just like Helldivers, like the new planetary system you arrive on and stuff like that.
I think at some point, I don't know, man. I agree with you on that one, man. Increase the player base on that huge player base on PS4, but at this point,
many.
Sometimes you have to, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think they really need to have a streaming option for those people on PS4. You know, maybe they have PlayStation Plus or something like that. You can stream that game, but for stuff like that, I mean, that's a great idea that Microsoft came up. Yeah. I mean, even Xbox does it on the Xbox, OG Xbox, so Xbox One. So I mean, it's a great idea. I mean, you don't have to get new hardware if you can't afford it. Some people can't. So stream it. You know, I don't know, man. This is going to be such a weird launch because it's going to either be really bad, or I don't even think it's gonna be really good. I think it's just gonna be average. I don't see it being really good, unless, like I said, there is a god tier mode that, like, oh god, I've never seen anybody do this before, but this has pretty much been cookie cutter so far. So
hey, we're lukewarm on it, but time will tell. Let's see how it plays out. This is the interesting part of participating in a beta and trying to figure out where the model is gonna be and and how that's gonna shake out over the course of the. We didn't see that happening with Fortnite. Fortnite was this survival build-a-thon, and it turned into a cultural zeitgeist. So,
well, I mean, we got. Didn't we just get Foam Stars not too long ago?
Mm-hmm.
With that,
I don't even think I fired that up yet. I mean, even though we all got it, so
Destruction Derby.
Remember
Destruction
Derby?
That,
yeah. Destruction.
Destruction All Stars.
Yeah.
All Stars. Yeah.
I mean, those were what. I mean, at least Destruction All Stars was what. That was a paid SKU, right? And then they made it free to play.
And then
they
put it in. Yep.
Free to play. I don't even think the online community on that is even going. So
I don't even think it's existing.
I've never played Foam Stars either. Oh, I played one round of the beta, and that was it.
And so somebody had a conversation on Twitter where they mentioned, like, you know, we had this big reveal from Sony on like all these games as a service, and then now we have nothing in like from the first party studios, and like they're starting to see some of the stuff being like course correction, because I think whoever came in there, they're like, all right, what the fuck did we just get ourselves into? Because like look at the situation now.
Yeah.
So it's like everything's a wild card. So imagine they would have done this 26 times. You know, like, oh, is this gonna do well or not? You know. So I think somebody had mentioned like they're thinking this little brief period of no information is just course correction, because I think they said next year they're gonna go lean in more towards their single player titles again, and because they're probably, I think somebody came in there like, what the fuck what were we thinking? You know, what were we thinking when we were greenlighting all these gas games? They knew some of these were going to fail because, you know, some of these studios have closed. So I'm like, you know, reallocated resources elsewhere. But, you know, it's, right. I think this is going to be bad for Sony. I think they're going to even cancel even more even more gas
we're-
games, because I think the only one they got left was with the Jade Raymond one, right?
Yeah.
The bank heist
And that
one.
fantasy London one that I can't remember the name
Yeah.
of, they showed off. I mean,
So, those are really the only two left, right?
we're course correcting. We're playing Final Fantasy X and Beyond Good and Evil and Paper Mario.
Yeah. Nintendo's been killing it, man. Nintendo's
Jack and
been killing
Daxter.
it.
We're paying. I mean, we're playing stuff that works, and we can just fire up and play.
I don't know, man. Nintendo, as much crap I give them, man, they've been killing it this generation. I think they've been doing the perfect balance of AA, retro, AAA, new releases. I mean, there's a reason why their console sales are ridiculous.
And now they'll be able to
7 years
continue
later,
that first party slate and potentially have third party like Call of Duty support and things like that, as well as
Gio's a great hire. I think he's gonna tell people like, yeah, just downgrade it a little bit and get it on there and get some of those third party games on there to help like not lose some. You know, some people only can game on the next console. Cool, there's an option for you to play the new version of Doom on there. You know, I mean, you don't have to sit there and get a PC or get another console to get on there. You have that option for you.
Take your 1S type version and leverage this FSSR or whatever we've put into this console with 4 years of advanced technology and make it similar.
I need both these publishers, Microsoft and Sony, to like really take a page out of Nintendo's book. I really need them to, because I think they're kind of losing their way. Because we all saw that story on the Japan studio, right? From the creator of Slither. Yeah. He left because Sony wanted to keep Japan studio open, but they wanted big budget games, and he's like, I don't want to be limited to making big budget games. I want to make whatever the hell I want. So they all left. Yep. So it's like, I mean, you locked them down creatively because you put a lot. I mean, when you make big budget games, it's a lot of pressure, right? You got to make an X amount of sales. You got to make reviews up to here. I mean, and you have to make titles that you're going to make sequels of titles because it's going to sell. Like, oh, we got to put a 2 or 3 in front of it because, you know, the numbers are going to keep going up. So it's like you lose a lot of that creativity when you do stuff like that. So I'm like,
and to be fair, they were given the leeway to make those type games, and nobody bought them. Nobody bought the Gravity Rushes and the. I mean, we joked about Knack. They didn't buy Knack.
Yeah,
I did.
I bought both Knacks.
I did too. Yeah,
I bought both Gravity Rushes.
Knack 2 is awesome.
I bought Gravity Rush 3 times.
Gravity Rush was awesome.
And we're maybe getting a Gravity Rush 2 port or remake, right? That seems to be happening just because of a multimedia product coming out, right? Yeah. Just a tie-in. So who knows, you know? And I'm sure that game's not going to sell well either, even though I love Gravity Rush or Gravity Days, or whatever you want to call it. So
speaking of which, Paramount canceled the Halo series, and we didn't really put that in the news or discuss it. They're shopping that around, so I'm sure it's not going away. But
the other one was Netflix canceled the Horizon series. So
that's off the planning or whatever now.
Apparently, the showrunner is not a very good person to work with, so they cancel all their shows for that particular person. Which Horizon happened to be a casualty of that set.
So not so
I'm
much.
Assuming Sony's probably going to shop it around, but it's no longer be on Netflix. I'm assuming because I mean they spent all that money to remake Horizon 1. You can't do it for no reason, so you gotta probably find somebody else to make that show for you, right? So that's what you get when Sony doesn't have its own streaming service outside of Crunchyroll. So it's kind of like
is that the next pivot?
Take those hits. No, because I mean they went to make that offer to Paramount, and I think that was part of it because they were probably interested in some of those assets. But I think they looked at how much Paramount, because when they made the offer, you get a look at their books and their deals, like how much they bring in revenue-wise. And I think after they saw how much money they're bringing, they're like, this is not a good deal. I think that's why they walked it back so quickly and they got sold to Skydance because they were like, this is not worth it, because they wanted a lot of those IPs and they were talking about like, hey, can we just buy some of this stuff and divest the other stuff on there? And I think they didn't want to do all that stuff because it was a lot of work for Paramount, because I think it wasn't as sweet as a deal as they were. I don't think it was worth $26 billion when they threw out there. I think that's why they casually like I don't know, you know, money wise, I don't think it's worth it. So
when do we see something from the Uncharted franchise?
They said Uncharted 2, the movies, and coming soon. They said they're in the process of making it now. So that
first movie's so good.
So
Brandon, have you seen the Uncharted movie? You're so on it.
That's like you guys. So secretly between me, you guys are so big on that Mario Brothers anime movie, and I feel like the Mario Brothers anime movies for me. So I'm like, it didn't really pop off for me. So I just didn't want to be the negative guy. So but like, it was a Mario movie. It was all right.
Be that guy.
I don't know what I was expecting from it, but
my kids also really dug that movie, so that was a big part of it too. And all the Easter eggs there for the old heads like me.
Yeah. I don't know. I just saw it and I was like, it works.
It's fine.
I mean,
it's fine.
I was okay. I was okay with Chris Pratt's voice. I was like, he's okay, Mario. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. You know, but all the voices fit. Thought they did
Say
very
no
well.
game. The tagline from the first movie.
I just felt like the story and some of the comedy in it was underwhelming, especially with the other stuff that Illumination did. I feel like they do a better job with Despicable Me and Minions and some of their other movies. But
I think they'll learn from those, despite its success. I think they'll learn from it.
I don't know what limitations of creativity that they have over there because they do have to do enhance with Nintendo. So yeah, I don't know.
All right, that wraps up the Concord discussion. I think is how it started.
Yeah.
All right, it's almost 11.
I derailed it. I apologize.
No, we all derailed it. You guys got anything else you want to add?
No.
I want to see Brant stream all the Kingdom Hearts games
in the nude. I'm sorry, in a hot tub.
No, fully clothed. Fully clothed Brant. But I do want to see Brant stream them all.
I would watch a Brant Kingdom Hearts stream.
Yes, because he's played so many of them. I think he'd be pretty good at them. Except for me just fumbling around and getting stuck in the Alice in Wonderland level or the Tarzan level, which usually happens at some point. I'm there for an extra couple hours and I need to be so.
Or you could play the kart spinoff, Kingdom Carts. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it for us this week. We will catch you next week. Bye.
See ya.
Adios.